EGM Network.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Cottage Conversations with Mary Lou Ciambriello. I'm the producer, Jesse Krisky. Today's guest is realtor Jennifer Martin, a woman who is helping women who are incarcerated find hope, dignity, and a second chance. Mary Lou firmly believes that all things related to real estate Mary Lou firmly believes that all things relate to real estate because how you live starts with where you live. Home is more than just four walls. Home is your safe place. Home is family and friends. Home is your community. And often, finding your way home begins with someone who simply believes in you. Jennifer's journey is a remarkable example that realtors are real people with real challenges, and many are on a mission to make a real difference in their community. Jennifer's story is one of recovery, passion, and proof that one person can make a difference. The goal of this conversation is simple: to inspire all of us. So join Mary Lou and her sidekick, Jennifer Arteaga, as they welcome Jennifer Martin to Cottage Conversations with Mary Lou. Hi, ladies. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Jesse. And everyone, I'm going to read a little bit. I actually have notes in front of me because this is such an important podcast. I want all of you to understand that I do firmly believe that everything is related to real estate. And Jennifer has an amazing story. And one of the things we need to understand is that realtors, so many of us realtors, don't stop at the closing table. We actually contribute to the community long after we close and we walk away. And Jennifer's story is one of an amazing accomplishment. And I'm so privileged to have her here today. And I hope that you all come from it with being inspired and just wanting to be a better person. So Jennifer, I'm going to call you Jennifer. And my adopted niece over there, who's also Jennifer, will be known as Jen, okay? And hopefully I can get through. But Jennifer, I want you to, first, we are a very successful agent, and that's a tribute to hard work. We know that. But tell us your beginnings, your childhood, how you came into this world.
Okay. Oh, I came in addicted to heroin.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I always say my parents were 17-year-old heroin addicts. I guess the experiment went as well as could be expected. It was a rough beginning. They were kids themselves, and when I was 3 months old, my mom died, and my dad, being 17 years old, did not want to have a baby. His parents saw that different. They wanted to keep me with him. I don't know that was it's like codependency kind of.
The best decision, yeah.
Yeah, my grandparents, I think, wanted my dad to be better than he really was, But anyway, so it was a rough childhood. I went from my dad's parents to my dad and wife number 2, and then back to my grandparents, and then my dad with wife number 3, then back to my dad with wife number 4, until I ended up at 11 years old. Had a lot of mental and emotional problems.
Of course.
And so, one of the wives, we were kidnapped. Just a lot of insanity.
A lot of drama, unnecessary drama. Not a normal childhood, but normal for you, I would assume.
For me.
Normal for you, I would understand. Yeah. So, did you ever feel that the odds were against you? Did you know as a child that that you had this rough upbringing? Or
I always say I spoke fluent Victimese. Yes, I felt like little orphan Annie, like poor little Jennifer, everything. But legitimately, it was a sad childhood. There were sad things that happened. But I think, that also kind of turned on me where I used it a little bit as an excuse for everything. I don't think as a kid, you're not, to blame as a kid. You had mental, emotional problems, but that carried like long after. I kind of had that victim mentality. I had that entitled, somebody owes me something for my,
because
bad
of
childhood.
What happened on, and Jen over here is going to talk to you about your belief in God. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Yes, please tell us how you found him and
I know he can pick you up from the fire. So it sounds like this was your...
Yes. Well, I think what happened when I was 11, 12 years old, that God got thrown in the mix with everybody else. If there's a God, how could he let my mom die? How could he let my dad be on drugs? How could he let me get kidnapped? It was like I had a very immature idea of things as a kid.
A tainted view, and justifiably. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't.
Yeah.
We can excuse that. I mean, I don't feel bad about having that mentality.
Yeah.
Okay, and when did you know you hit rock bottom? When did you know you hit rock bottom?
I got sober at 27 years old. 27 seems to be a number. A lot of people die at 20. You know, Kurt Cobain, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain, right? So 27 years old was when I got sober. So I'm 55. I got 27 out and 27
down.
Yeah,
that's wonderful. Okay, so how did you achieve sobriety? How did you achieve that?
Well, to what Jen was saying about, it's funny because I had tried sobriety. I was kind of in and out of a 12-step program. And, but I did not want to hear about God. I did not want to hear anything about, I just wanted to stop drinking, problem solved. And I didn't realize that the problem was a lot deeper than drinking. And it was all that twisted look at the world, twisted look at God, twisted look at people, so I'd put the drink down and it was unbearable to be sober. It was unbearable with the head that I had, the way I viewed the world, the way I viewed everything. As there's a guy, he wrote a book, A New Pair of Glasses. He said, without that essential psychic change.
A new pair of glasses.
A new pair of glasses.
Yeah.
It's like I'm in the same chair with the same circumstances, but I see it different. Maybe the difference between heaven and hell is a new pair of glasses.
Well,
and I needed a new pair of glasses.
I always tell the story of, when I speak to certain people that have issues and I'm looking at them and I see them in a totally different light, I always say, you need a new mirror. I don't know the one you're looking at, but the one I'm seeing, you
say that to me all the time.
Yeah, I say that to you. I do. I know you need a new mirror. Somebody needs to tell you that it's and everything passes. Everything passes if you take on the challenge and you understand it's not overnight.
Well, and that's what happened at 27 years old. My last drink. I had what they call a moment of clarity, a snapshot of who I really was, not who I pretended to be, how I wanted people to see me. But in that moment, I realized I'm not drunk because my mom died or my dad left me in foster care or the institutions. I'm drunk because I drank alcohol. Like, nobody abused me more than me. Like, the worst person to be.
Enemy.
Yes. And I saw it. And I love when Byron Katie, she says, if you see a rope and you think it's a snake, you're afraid. But as soon as you know it's a rope, you can't be afraid anymore. Once you see, and once I saw myself and I realized I could never unsee that. So that's where my journey began, is that God gave me a snapshot. He showed me, that. And thank God it was my fault, because if it was their fault, I might not be sober, because they may never change. My father, I still don't have a relationship with, nothing's changed on that. On the home front.
Yeah, but there's always somebody
Your
that
dad
comes
is
in your
still
life
alive.
He's still alive.
And is he still doing the same?
I have not spoken. The last time, I was always crawling before him for love. And the last time I went home sober with my children, and I left crying and just feeling like I was trying to get grapefruits from an orange tree. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's probably because you're a parent, and as a parent, you have expectations for yourself, and that also should be met by other people.
Yeah.
You don't hold the same rules for different rules. You have the same rules for yourself as you do for your father or for your own parents.
Yes.
And and unfortunately, Jennifer, you didn't get the parents you deserved. You did not get the parents you deserved, but you turned out to be an amazing parent as well, and that's a testimony too, because that's a hard turn. That's a hard right.
Well, I like, there's a lady, Joyce Myers, and she says, when Jesus came into town riding on the donkey, they were all saying, Hosanna, hallelujah. Imagine if the donkey thought all the praise was for him and you're the donkey. Like, my story is amazing, but it's not an amazing story of Jennifer. It's an amazing story of what God done in I know what my life was like before God, and I know what my life was like after I invited God into my life. Got on my knees, gave my life to Him, and said, "I've made a mess of this, and I got to go your way now."
And figure it out. Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, you said something about the elevator, and I know that it made me really sad, because you said that for us, the elevator is when we get to the bottom floor, it's death.
Yeah.
And it really, it just broke my heart because I was in the restaurant business for a long time, and I left because I couldn't deal. I was finding beds for my employees, and I just couldn't deal with the stories. It was just heartbreaking. So talk to us about the elevator ride.
Okay, well, I mean, there's the saying, you don't have to take the elevator all the way to the bottom. You can get off at any floor, I remember a guy at an AA conference, he said, there's the next right thing to do in the middle of robbing a bank. Like, you don't have to take it to the nth degree where you kill everybody in this. At any time, you can stop, and you can get off the elevator at any floor, so thank God for that.
That broke
I
my
like
heart.
that analogy.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then on top of that, poor Jen is crying over there.
Oh,
Miss Ortega.
It's pretty normal.
Okay.
But I know the wonders that God can do in your life. And I saw it with my husband, with his medical conditions. And I've seen it. I've seen his miraculous wonders. How could you not believe?
I think,
absolutely.
I think Jen, and Jennifer, I think that miracles happen every day.
Yep.
And I think that often God whispers.
Yes.
And sometimes we're just not listening. And it's the whispers that are more important than the slap in the face, here, take this road or whatever. But, it's just an amazing story. So you go to the Women's Detention Center once a week. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, Indian River County Jail. We bring a meeting into there. I love it. I was there last night, and it's my favorite meeting. The sad thing, what I want those women to know is your past does not have to be your future.
Yeah.
And it's funny because one of the girls was saying, that nobody wanted her. And it's true. Her mom wanted to have an abortion. The dad wanted the mom to have an abortion. The mom didn't want to have a baby, but she's here. So somebody wanted her
Absolutely.
here. God wanted her here. Your life matters. Every life matters.
Well, I think sometimes people, we had an employee who her parents didn't want her either. And she said, nobody wanted me. And I said, let me just explain this to you. There's no such thing as an unwanted child. You belong here.
Yes.
You belong here.
Yes.
And
yes, and it's
and everyone should be wanted. Everyone should be loved. But
and we are.
Yeah.
We are. By God.
By God,
Father's
exactly.
Day, my pastor had a different, I go to Oceans Unite, and he preached on God as a father,
Yes.
I have a loving father who has restored to me everything that I didn't have in my childhood and more. So that's why I laugh about like Little Orphan Annie. It's kind of ridiculous for me. It was a sad childhood, but God's more than made up for it in these.
Well, your journey has meaning, and your life had meaning, and it started off rough. I mean, but the reality is that you brought great meaning to it, and then a lot of people who have these journeys. I personally don't know anybody. You're my first, okay? I thought I had a horrible childhood. I shut up now, okay? Thank you, Mom and Dad, by the way. You did a great job.
To me all the time. With mine the way it is, I've heard a lot worse.
But you needed a testimony to be able to help these women.
Well, that's the one thing about the jail. I mean, they can sniff out BS. I mean, if you haven't been where they are, if you're just talking out of a book or talking out, it's it's the language of the heart.
Yes.
So, the good thing is I can look them right in the eye and say, I've literally been where you are and have recovered and have a life. It takes away the excuses. There are no excuses.
Yeah. Well, you're living proof. You're walking living proof that you can do anything if you believe in yourself, you believe in God, and you can and make your way through. So talk to me, tell me a success story. I mean, I'm sure you have many because you deal with many, many women, and we don't want to leave anybody out. But the reality is that there's got to be something that really touched your heart where you said, wow, I succeeded at something important.
Well, I will say there's, in the Bible somewhere it says, the deaf can hear, the lame can walk. That story goes on every day in recovery. People restore their. There's a lot of heartbreak, and you and I have talked about that. There's a lot of them, and unfortunately, and I don't know the numbers exactly, the statistics, but the more. The longer some of the 12-step programs have gone on, they've become more secular. You don't hear as much about God, and the success rate has gone down. So, I was in and out of 12-step programs with no God and didn't stay sober. That's just for me. I'm not saying for other people, but for me, I was powerless. I needed a real power in my life. I needed what Carl Jung talked about. He said there's a reason alcohol is called a spirit. Spirit is contra spiritum. It's like you need a spirit to conquer a spirit. I needed the power of God. God, they talk about alcohol being a synthetic spiritual experience. I had all these mental and emotional problems. And when I took a drink, all of a sudden, I am tall blonde with big boobs, but that I didn't feel that way. And I just drank. I was like, wow.
So apparently you got a new mirror. Okay?
I got a new mirror with alcohol. I'm like, all those people abandoning me and reject me, screw you,
Yeah.
It was synthetic spiritual experience. It was liquid courage. After a few drinks, I was like, could take on the world. So if anybody ever told me to stop drinking, you think I was going to stop drinking? Drinking was the magic elixir for me.
Yeah.
So I was willing to pay a big price.
I had the opposite experience because I grew up in the restaurant industry and I never took a drink and I've never been drunk. And I'm an older woman here. I've had plenty of opportunity to have. I never took a drink because I was terrified that I'd become a drunk. And my husband always says I got the cure before I got the disease.
Yes.
And I'm grateful for that. I enjoy a glass of wine, but I would say a bottle of wine would last me a month, and then I have to throw it out.
See, to me, that's a drinking problem. You got a problem. You don't know what to do with that.
I have to throw it out. I have to throw it out.
That's alcohol abuse.
But so talk about your mission and how did you find your mission? How did you decide that you were going to go to the women's detention and talk to these women? What caused that? What motivated you to do that?
Well, it's like there's a saying in the program too. It's like, it's not that I decided. It's this miracle happened for me. The evidence that it happened for me 27 years ago is I'm as excited about it today as I was 27 years ago.
Yeah.
I can't stop telling people about it. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened. And if something's really happened to you, you want everybody to have
want to share it.
Yes. Now, not everybody wants. Everybody wants what I'm giving away, but
it's not a matter. They don't come from that perspective. They really and truly don't understand. There's no empathy. There's no empathy. But it's an amazing story.
Well, I love these women. I love these women it's amazing. I told you some of the women in our 3-quarter house in Melbourne. One lady. She's got 8 children. She had her first baby when she was 12 years old. Another girl died 2 times the night before she got sober, was almost beat to death by a boyfriend and dragged through the streets with gravel in her legs, was in a coma. I have another girl who, was doing drugs with her mom at a young age, turned her out
and
as
you
a
said your mother turned,
so you hear some very... And so success looks very different success is different for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
and that's fine.
Yes.
That's absolutely fine because everybody has a different story and a different beginning and different challenges. So
it's
that's
amazing
fine.
to see these women, that girl and her mother are both sober and have amazing relationship with God and grandchildren. And, the other girl is, going to college now, was just reunited with her son after, several years. Her son didn't want to be involved with her and she didn't blame him. She said, I understand. Let me leave you alone for a while.
Yeah.
Let me be sober and prove to you and show you. She wasn't so selfish.
Let me earn it. Yeah.
Yes.
I need to earn it.
And he came back and, just amazing. And the woman with 8 children, she's a wonderful mother. She's a beautiful person. She just got a real estate license. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So tell me, what does success look like to you? What does success look like to you today? Aside from the fact that you are, and we need to point this out, she's a very successful realtor. But what does success look to you aside from real estate?
Well, I remember hearing a friend of mine said that alcoholics are lucky in a way because we get to live 2 lives in one. And you might not be grateful for a soft pillow and a warm shower unless you've lived outdoors. You might not be grateful to be a good mother unless you've been a bad mother. You might not be grateful. Success to me is that my daughter drops my grandkids off, to spend the weekend with me. That I'm the this is I'm the one that my family comes to and calls, and that.
Well, you're approachable, and as a parent, that's our biggest is to be approachable.
Okay, I think I've had enough with the crying.
Okay. And
your story is beautiful.
It's a
Jen.
beautiful story.
Thank you for sharing.
And the lesson in it is amazing. Yeah, the lesson in it is amazing, because one of the things that people don't understand about us as agents, as realtors, is that we really and truly, Jennifer takes them shopping. She brings them to the doctor. She does all those wonderful things.
Because it's so much more than just real estate. And Jen, I mean, her story is just...
We get to be of service.
Yes,
I mean,
we get to be useful and of service.
Even real estate. Talk about a God thing. Okay, so somebody offered to pay for me to go to real estate school. I'm like, real estate? I don't know anything about real estate. No. Second person, I was working over at Curves, the women's gym or whatever, and Pat, who owned First Choice or something up there, she said, you have a great personality. I'll pay for you to go to real estate school. I'm like, real estate? No. I'm like, what's with this real estate? Is God trying to tell me something?
Twice.
Yes.
Third person. God always comes to me. And
now he was shouting.
Yeah, now he's like, listen, I'm trying to help you. Like, go buy the lotto ticket.
The first was a whisper. The second was a conversation. The third was a slap in the face. Yeah.
See, so we really do believe, because the same thing happened to me when I was working at a restaurant as a waitress. I had so many different people say the same thing. You have a good personality. You should be in real estate. And I'm telling you, I was like, ew, no, for the longest time. Yeah. And here I am.
Well, I was like, waitressing. I'm like, if I screw their eggs up, it's like a couple bucks. If I screw up a real estate, I'm going to be in court. And that's going to be, I don't want
my story for how I became a realtor is a little bit different. I was 23 and we were in the restaurant business, and my husband came home and said, you're going to college. I said, I am? He goes, yeah, you're going to go to college for real estate. I said, I am? He goes, yes, because God forbid I die. I don't want you to be a waitress for the rest of your life. I want you to be able to support yourself. Aww. And I started at the age of 23 at Pace University, but didn't practice until I was in my 50s. So,
But, well, I went back to college after I got sober. I got to experience everything. I never even went to high school. I was in and out of institutions. And, so I got to do all of that.
We're so blessed to have you. But more importantly, I want you to give out a message to somebody out there, families out there that might be struggling with someone that has alcohol or drug abuse, and maybe give them an encouraging word and give them direction as to where to go.
Okay. Well, I mean, I would say that, the most important thing is that God loves you. God cares about you. God is a father. He doesn't love me more than he loves you. So if he gave it to me, he'll give it to you. If there's a problem, it's not on God's side, it's on your side. There's things that you have to do. You've got to lay down. You've got to change. Well, God's always willing. God will always provide.
Yeah. Unbelievable story. And I myself, I can't get over, in the restaurant business, we ran into a lot of, we started out with mothers that just wanted to make extra money on the weekend, and then I became like a drug rehab, finding beds for people. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. I had to leave the business because I just couldn't find another bed.
But you're probably approaching it from a different place. Yeah. I'm approaching it,
you're in it. I was viewing it.
Exactly, and you probably feel sorry for it and bad for them. I don't, because it's the good thing is, it's like, I'm tough, like as a sponsor or whatever, because people, that it's like, listen, when I was drinking, I was going to find a drink no matter what. Nothing was going to stop me. So when I was really ready to get sober, nothing was going to stop me. Nothing was going to get. So if something's stopping you and you have excuses, just take responsibility. You're just not ready yet, and that's okay. Yeah. But once you're ready, nothing's going to stop you. You know what I mean? It's like, if I was going to get a drink, I don't care if I have a gun to my head. Oh, well, you're going to have to shoot me. I'm getting a drink. Now, all of a sudden, I'm at an AA meeting. Someone rolls their eyes at me. I'm never going back. Like, when did you get so sensitive, honey? You just are looking for an excuse to leave. And if you're looking for an excuse you'll find one.
Right. Wow. Right. That's, well, we put a couple of people in programs, and one of the most amazing letters we got was a 12-step letter. And I'd made a contract with one of my employees, and I said, if you come late, I'm going to fire you, blah, blah, blah. My husband and my head server were enablers, and I'm not. I'm pretty tough. But what happened was, he didn't come. He missed one day of work, and I met him out in the parking lot with his pay, and he said, I called Pat, and I called Donna. I said, well, wasn't who the deal was with. It was with me. So here's your pay. Go with God, you know. And about 4 years later, I received a 12-step letter. We received a 12-step letter, and it took us 3 days to read it. I mean, it was just heartbreaking. And in the end, he wrote, "And Mary Lou, I know you love me the most because you were the only one that said, I can't watch you do this anymore." So if you're out there, please seek help and take heart from this wonderful story. This is an amazing story. You can do anything. Jennifer came from the worst beginning you could possibly imagine, and we can do nothing but admire her and love her for sharing her experiences. And I'm very proud of Jen Artiega over there for not crying.
She cried the whole time.
I cried the whole time.
She
quietly.
It's a beautiful story,
It was an
and I knew
amazing
the
story.
day I met you that you had
was an
something
amazing.
special.
Well, I met her, and we just started talking, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I have a podcast. You have got to come on. We've got to tell your story.
And John Sr., my broker from was like the father I never had. He believed in me, and I respected him. I trusted him, and I thought if he sees something in me, I'm so grateful for that man.
Well, you know, it's amazing how one kind word can go a long way. And and you know, it's important for us to be kind to each other, especially in the world that we live in today. I'm making a vow, and it's gonna take me a while, but I'm taking the word hate out of my vocabulary.
I like that.
I'm hoping that on 4th of July is when we'll never use the word hate again, because I think there's other ways we can, hate is such an ugly word. It's time for me to,
I know, I hate it.
Yeah, I hate it. I do too. But, you are so inspirational, and you need to, anybody out there, real estate is so much more than putting a sign in the ground and sitting at a closing table. And there are so many of us that do so much in the community, and I'm so proud to be part of those people that really and truly care. And Indian River, I say it all the time, lucky us to live in Indian River County. There's no better place on the planet than Indian River County. Am I done, Jesse? Okay.
No,
I just want to say,
he's been having seizures over there.
Has he? I have to. He's got to put me in the other corner so I can see him waving at me. So for all of you out there, understand that realtors are people too, and that many of us, like Jennifer and Jen, really and truly go out there and try to make a difference. I am shocked by the generosity. I wrote an article many years ago for the TC Palm Real Estate Resources, and I called it Sleeves. And in there, I quoted a lot of what other agents had done, and they do a tremendous amount of work. Thank you so much. God be with you. Ciao for now, and have the best day ever, everyone. Thank you. Say goodbye, everyone.
Adios.
Ciao for now.